Electrode and going through the rest of the first generation. So we'll start with Electrode, and it's another Sucker Punch screw up. So Sucker Punch, 4th generation move tutor. A lot of Pokemon get it, but most Pokemon don't have it for the 6th generation where it matters. So can't use on Battle Spot, can use in other kinds of battles. Sucker Punch, one of those things we talked about this before. Next up we have Starmie. I didn't mention Minimize on Starmie. Minimize Starmie, pretty terrifying, especially with Bright Powder. What you want to do is, instead of using like Cosmic Power or something, you can do Minimize, Calm Mind, Scald with Recover. That could be a pretty strong option, and the idea is you just want to minimize up and speed invest as well. If you speed invest, you're going to be able to get faster than your opponent in a lot of situations. You get that minimize boost and the Bright Powder, so you minimize, they don't hit you, you minimize, they don't hit you, so we can maybe put the extra point into defense or something, and then you eventually get really strong, and then you use Scald or Ice Beam or whatever. If you have Scald, you can get Water Absorbed, but if you're not worried about that, then you can just go and win. Other than that, we have Jinx. I didn't mention Lovely Kiss on Jinx, mostly because I don't like its accuracy. 75% accuracy, not a lot, but then at the same time, people do use Sleep Powder on a lot of Pokemon, so just kind of compare it to Sleep Powder, and if you do find your Jinx using Lovely Kiss, might put your opponent to sleep, and then you might be able to set up against them. Now let's get into the hard move sets, and we'll start off with Exeggutor and Hayden's Exeggutor strategy. So it's pretty much like Harvest Shenanigans into setup. That's mostly going to be started by a Pokemon with Agility and Baton Pass. So pretty much you're just going to use Agility. If they go for setup, use Encore. Emolga is a fast Pokemon, so I'd imagine you just want like speedy investment, and I don't know about the tankiness, maybe had like an offensive move, that way you could at least fight out, but pretty much you're just going to go for that Agility, Encore lock your opponent, use that to free Baton Pass into Exeggutor, and we talked about Exeggutor's strength. 125 special attack is huge on that base for a Pokemon like Exeggutor. Also has some good tanky stats overall, and the Chlorophyll ability, if Sunny Day's active, its speed is doubled. Well, if you Agility it, now you're doubling its speed anyways, so you just go for the Harvest and Harvest. If the last item used is a berry, 50% chance to restore it at the end of the turn, and then you combo with Patea Berry. So now you use your speed to use Substitute. Substitute is going to drop you down, you take the hit, it breaks. Substitute, drop you down, take the hit, it breaks. Substitute, Patea Berry activation, and then you start going for offenses. So it's going to be a free stage 1 boost, and then you try to convert for knockouts. So you have Energy Ball and Psyshock as your main damage. I don't recommend Giga Drain because then you're getting out of Patea Berry range, but then you just kind of want to look for those super effective and one-hit KO kind of moves. Now, other moves you can use, Ancient Power is funny because if you get like stat boost, then you become completely unstoppable. Go for it, or just kind of do something like that. Hidden Power Ice or Hidden Power Fire. Coupling with all this will be very strong, but for the most part, you're just using your Cool Stab and Psyshock with the +1 energy balls. It could take out very frail Pokemon, even some pretty standard Pokemon, and if you get a super effective hit, it's pretty much over. Also, if at any time they go for setup, you have a free substitute, so now you're just chipping in damage, and eventually, you know, Exeggutor scores the KO, Patea Berry activates because of the Harvest, and then you just keep snowballing it from there. So you really only have to worry about priority with this, and then you're good to go. Other than that, Hitmonlee. Hitmonlee, I didn't look at all of the Unburden options. You see red card Hitmonlee quite a lot, and that's going to be whenever you are hit, it forces the attacker out, and it procs your Unburden. So if you look back at Unburden, your items lost, your speed is doubled. So that means your 211 speed now goes over 400 at level 100, and then we'll just show you the level 50 stats as well. And that just means you're going to be really fast and outspeeding a lot of Pokemon. So I was thinking you go rest and hit point investment, use attack, and then you're good to go. Other than that, you can use Bulk Up. So first turn, Bulk Up, get some defenses, get an extra attack boost, take that hit, and now you're going to be really silly because your defenses, while not being absurd, it's going to at least let you survive a hit. But now you're at +1 attack with the Unburden boost. Close combat, boom, that's going to be huge amounts of damage, and it also takes away the risk of high jump kick. I feel that when you're boosting this much, don't need the high jump kick. You have Stone Edge. Accuracy might be an issue, so we do also consider like Rock Slide just for the coverage, and then Knockoff. Now that we have like Knockoff accessible for a lot of Pokemon, we can use Knockoff, and that could be serious damage as well, that you're removing the item, getting the bonus damage, the bulk boost with your already really high 120 attack. Hitmonlee becomes a little scarier and a little more diverse with this instead of normal gym fake out. Looking at Snorlax, we just saw on a recent Fan Friday what this Snorlax does. That pretty much you just want to belly drum the Gluttony into a Custap Berry. This can also work in single battles potentially as well, that if you don't have a Pokemon that can outright, I think, 2-hit KO you, because technically you're at 50% hit points. Snorlax is really bulky. It can be a very difficult Pokemon to 1 or even 2-hit KO, and then you just convert that into the speed, go for the self-destruct, and you're going to trade 1 for 1, or in doubles, we saw it with a fake out Sableye. So Fake Out Sableye fakes out an opponent, makes it where Snorlax is going to be very reliable, and then goes for the self-destruct, not affecting Sableye and then blowing up everything else. But before Snorlax self-destructs, Sableye ends up using Psych Up, because then it Megas, still keeps its priority on that next turn, Psych Ups the +6, and then goes for extreme amounts of damage, and then wins from there. So then my idea as a variation of this is that you switch out into a Trick Room Pokemon and you use Earthquake. So if you have a Pokemon with an Air Balloon, that way it doesn't take absurd amounts of damage, or a Pokemon that is going to have Telepathy or something, therefore it doesn't get hit by the Earthquake, now you can actually make this strategy even faster. Earthquake has a very high chance of knocking out both of your opponent's Pokemon. Unless they have Levitate or something, then you might just go with the Self-Destruct, in which case Telepathy still works, or you can keep in your Sableye. But then you can just go Protect. So you use Earthquake, you don't blow up, you use Protect, you have Trick Room activate on your side on that turn that you Protect, then you use that speed priority to self-destruct, or even Earthquake again if there is enough damage and Pokemon are susceptible to it. So that could be pretty hilarious right there, and it means you don't have to immediately sacrifice your Snorlax, and Snorlax still keeps a lot of that belly drum super crazy threat on its side. So just showing the idea and branching out on it just a bit more, and then we have Rhyperior. Rhyperior with Weakness Policy, Solid Rock, and Rock Polish. So the idea is you invest a lot into your hit points. You can either max out your hit points or you can try to get a bit more into your attack. That way your Weakness Policy boost is really strong. And the idea here is Rhyperior has a lot of weaknesses. And as long as you're not getting hit by a very powerful Grass or Water type move, you're going to be able to survive that with your Solid Rock and then get a Rock Polish off. Rock Polish going to double your speed. Now here's the thing. I was looking at it. If you have Jolly Nature, that's a lot of speed. But at the same time, you're losing way too much attack, so you can go Jolly if you want outspeeds, can go Adamant if you want more reliable damage, take that hit, get this Rock Polish, and now you're going to be faster than a lot of Pokemon. Weakness Policy puts you at +2, and now your damage is just stupidly absurd. Then you can look at something like Rock Slide. Rock Slide gets Stab, Earthquake gets Stab, and then Fire Punch, it's going to be for 4 times super effective hits. Interesting thing about Rhyperior is that unless you're hitting a Flying type Pokemon or a Levitate Pokemon, which is going to take some serious damage from Rock Slide, you have Earthquake. Earthquake does 150 base power because of Stab, so say you're using something like Poison Jab. Poison Jab only going to be 10 more power on a super effective hit. Same with Crunch, same with anything else. So I was just thinking that what we want to see out of it is maybe the Fire Fang, that we can take out Pokemon that are going to be 4 times, or Fire Punch, that we get to take out Pokemon 4 times weak. And even with Rock Slide after the Stab hitting super effective on a Flying type Pokemon or something like that, it's going to be really good. And you can just Earthquake Garchomp anyways with your super amounts of boost and damage. So overall, Fire Punch probably going to be the most reliable. You might even want Crunch, that way you can hit Gengars or Levitate Ghost type Pokemon for the most damage. And other than Rock Slide, there is always Stone Edge, but if you miss Stone Edge, could be a bit of a problem. 80% accuracy, but stupid amounts of damage. So this is going to clear up a lot of Pokemon on the field, and Weakness Policy Rock Polish. Don't know why I didn't mention it. Really powerful, really awesome. And then we just have Lapras. So on my Rain Dance sets with Lapras, you know, Hydration, Lapras, Super Sustain. I didn't mention Thunder. Thunder is going to be a really solid option because it can't miss in rain. And it's already high base power. If you're investing special attack, it can be really strong. And then another set is actually really trolly. Whirlpool with Perish Song. That you lead Whirlpool, you use Perish Song, and then you like protect, and then you stall them, and then stuff like that. I was even wondering maybe you could Chesto Resto this, or yeah, if you Chesto Resto, that means you get to rest, Chesto activates, you still have your Protect, still have good amounts of hit points, and they'll eventually go down to the Perish Song. Whirlpool means that they can't be trapped. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I think it was a lot more cleaner than my last relook guide, but this is pretty solid stuff. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope you all have a nice day.
From SkinCeuticals, new Advanced RGN6. Physician tested to complement laser procedures for optimal anti-aging results. Helps reduce downtime post-procedure. Advanced RGN6 by SkinCeuticals. Discover now.
Toothless is adorable. Me and Mason watched the movie, and the entire time I was being like, Mason, Toothless is so cute. And he was like, yes, I know. And I kept being like, no, you don't understand.
Why I'm so in love with Toothless, and why I think so many other people too, is a lot of people have pets and they love them so much and they can see a lot of their pet in Toothless.